This is Couples Court with the Cutlers.
This is the case of Lee versus Lee. You all have been married for 9 years. You have one child together, and concerns about cheating are causing problems in this relationship. Miss Lee, why are you here today?
I'm here to find out once and for all if he's been cheating on me.
These concerns that you have, how's it affecting your relationship?
We fight a lot.
So this is just a tense household.
Yes.
Mr. Lee, what are you here to prove?
I'm here to prove that I'm not cheating at all. I've been faithful to her for 9 years, and it's tearing us apart. I mean, it's always fussing and fighting. If I take a little longer at the grocery store, where have you been? It shouldn't have took that long. You're out there sleeping with someone else. If I have a moment to myself at all, it's, oh, you're cheating on me, aren't you? If I got a female coworker, oh, you're cheating on me, aren't you? No. I mean, for 9 years, she's been just saying the same stuff. Oh, I'm gonna leave you. I think you're cheating on me. Who are you texting? Who are you calling?
Mr. Lee, do you believe this is all in her head, that she's paranoid?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's from a past relationship or brought on by her own, maybe some sort of mental problems that need to be addressed, but I feel like she just needs to stop with allegations.
So we have an idea what it looks like now. What did it look like then?
We met about 9 years ago. We met at a party. I had a friend actually invite me to meet somebody else, and I ended up falling in love with that one. And the next night I called him, and he took me and my grandmother out to dinner.
Oh.
You and your grandmother?
Yes, I was living with my grandmother and taking care of her.
So your first date,
He took my grandmother.
your grandmother went with you?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Lee, is that some kind of player move
I come from a big family. I come from a big family, Your Honor, and if someone's going out to eat, we always ask if anyone else wants to go out to eat. I didn't want her grandma to be hungry.
How can you not love a guy like that?
I'm telling you, that is sweetness right there. That is sweetness.
And that's why you fell for him, isn't it?
Yeah, a month later we got married.
A month later?
Yeah.
We knew each other for 5 weeks total.
Wow.
And it lasted 9 years.
And you've made it 9 years. Y'all don't play, man. I mean, that is...
You talking about hit the
you know
ground
what?
running.
You know what? Go big or go home. That's it.
All right. So you've been together 9 years.
Yep.
You knew exactly what you wanted. You knew it right away. Why are you here? Why do you believe he's cheating?
We've been married 9 years, and the whole entire time we've only done 2 sex positions. We've done missionary and from behind. I know it sounds boring, but that's it. Within the last year, he's been bringing up other things. He's been throwing my legs over his head. He's been putting me to the side. I mean, just all sorts of random new positions.
So you went from 2 positions to being flipped around like a president.
Hey,
yes, Your
I
Honor.
didn't hear any complaining out of her.
Miss Lee, most women wouldn't complain about that. I mean,
Why out of the blue,
it
though?
up.
After 8 years, it's just one way. We pretty boring couple. We stay at home. We play video games. We watch TV. I mean,
That's
pretty
why.
boring couple.
We're a boring couple.
And now, all out of the blue, all these new things.
and so that causes you to have some concern.
Yeah, where did he learn them from?
All right, Mr. Lee, she brings up a valid point.
You know, I figured if I changed it up a bit, maybe she wouldn't go the other way, or maybe she'd be a little bit happier.
Might be tired.
Yeah. I mean, just kind of wear her out before she yells at me.
That's one approach.
Yeah.
That's one approach.
Miss Lee, I gotta ask you, what are you thinking about when he's doing all these
Where
new
the
things?
hell did he learn it from?
So you can't even enjoy it because you're thinking, well, where'd that come from? And who did he get that from?
I don't have a cheating bone in my body. Never have cheated on anybody.
But you know, Kylo, they say when there is a decrease in one sexual activity or change in what you're doing, that's a warning sign. So it's it isn't without basis.
I understand both sides because on the one hand, it's like, well, you do want to change it up a little bit. You don't want to always do the same thing.
Yes.
But then when it's all of a sudden, it's like, okay.
And it's really out there.
So you didn't talk to her about it, say, hey, things are going on. You just sprung it on her one night.
Yeah.
Without warning.
Started slow with this and that, and then, the next time, throw a little more and throw a little more. Yeah, just keep it routine.
Keep it
and
different.
Changed up.
Keep it in new. Keep it fresh.
Exactly.
And you're just not buying that at all.
Nope. No, Your Honor.
Well, Miss Lee, while I can understand your concern and there is some basis for it, it's not all bad. Do you have any other evidence that he's cheating?
Well, I work 2 jobs. I leave the house at like 8 o'clock in the morning. Don't get back until 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
I get home and I expect to spend time with my daughter 9, 10 o'clock at night, spend a little bit of time with her, and I would come home and she'd be nowhere to be found.
So, Miss Lee, you come home, your daughter's not there. You ask him, where is she?
Said she wanted to go to the babysitter, so I called him to have him come pick her up.
Okay, and what did you say in response to that?
Why didn't you call me and ask me? I've been at work all day and I want to come home and spend time with my daughter. Well, I just wanted some time alone. She wanted to go over there. And he went off walking, and I went into the bedroom and started going through his stuff, and I found a stack of porn DVDs in his book bag.
Okay.
What? And so when you found this,
That was the first night he sent my daughter off.
And you think he's using these porn DVDs and having sex with somebody else?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Lee.
They're not even mine. They're hers. They were mixed in with the piles of DVDs I packed up.
And you don't believe that, Miss Lee?
No, I don't believe him at all.
So, Miss Lee, have you ever caught him actually with a woman?
Okay, so we worked at the same place together in Montana for a little while, and I had several people come up to me telling me that he was flirting with them. So we made a plan with one of them that I was real close with to catch him in the act.
See, planning, right there.
Well, we decided to try to catch him in the act, and we worked together one night, and they started sexting. I sat there by her the whole entire time. She let me see what was going on, and I kind of told her a little bit of what to say to kind of lure him in a little. And he sent a pic of his penis.
All right, Mr. Lee.
While he's watching my kid.
Can you explain to me why you sent a picture of your privates to her coworker?
Well, first off, I knew I was being set up. You see, the night before we were out to dinner, and all of a sudden, someone starts texting me from a random number. I'm like, I don't recognize this number, so I think I'll ask. So it turns out it was one of the coworkers I've only worked with a couple times. But yeah, so I'm like, okay, why is she texting me? And I realized, she's good friends with her. So I'm like, okay, this is clearly a setup. So I'm like, okay, I'm texting, just mindless conversation, video games, trucks, this and that. So the next day, she goes to work with this girl, and I'm like, okay, well now let's see what happens now. So I know it's her on the other end of that phone because I know how she texts. I know all her little traps. I know everything she's given herself away on. So I'm like, okay, and then she asked me, okay, for a pic. So I'm like, okay, this obviously is what she wants. Okay, let's just give her what she wants. So I did.
Then how come when I got home that night, I said, what were you doing all day? And you said, nothing, I've been playing video games.
All right, so you send this pic, and in terms of going big or going home, you went big.
Yeah.
And you sent this pic.
Ain't that big.
I got tired of always being accused.
Mr. Lee, do you always send pictures of your privates to coworkers?
No, that was actually the only time.
When you got home, what happened?
So I said, have you been texting anybody today? No, I've just been sitting around. I said, no, the hell you haven't, because I was on the other side of the phone the whole time texting you. And then I walked out of the room and told him to get the hell out of the house. I was cussing him out and everything. Then all of a sudden, he switches it up and gets nasty with me, saying, oh, I knew it was you the whole time. Well, then why'd you just apologize to me and cry when you were on the toilet when I got home?
What we have here is a wife that absolutely doesn't believe her husband, a husband who says, I haven't done anything wrong. The only thing I was trying to do was spice it up in the bedroom. He says he's not cheating. He just wants to make it a little hotter, a little spicier. So based on that, the court went to a friend of the court to stop by and give us some insights on couples, romance, and when relationships go stale. At this time, the court would like to call New York Times best-selling author of erotica, novelist Zane. Ron, would you escort Zane into the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor.
How are you? I'm great. And yourself?
We're good. It's
Thank
good
you
to
for
see you.
coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, we need your insight. We have a couple here, been together 9 years. In the 8th year, he starts busting a move, basically. So we want to get from you some information. You write a lot about sex and romance.
I do.
You talk to a lot of couples. What would you suggest for couples who say the relationship is going stale? What do you recommend?
Well, first let me say this, that lust is the benefit of self at the expense of others, while love is the benefit of others at the expense of self. And what I mean by that is a lot of couples stop at the lust stage and never get to the love stage. Even when they've been together a long time and have kids and stuff together, you have to realize that love is about a degree of sacrifice and willing to make exceptions to make the other person happy. So a lot of times when a marriage becomes stale, it's because there's that lack of communication or the unwillingness to try different things.
And we know that you know a lot about Spice.
I do.
So, what advice would you give them since she seems to be uncomfortable with change and he's trying to spice things up?
Well, I think it's important to have an open mind. And as long as he's not asking you to do anything that makes you totally uncomfortable, you may want to try it because for all you know, you might like it. And our sex drives come in ebbs and flows, whether we're male or female. And sometimes a lot of it has to do with outside circumstances. But you never know. If he wants to try something new, unless it's something that's like really makes you uncomfortable, you just can't see yourself doing, why not try it? It might actually turn you on.
Here's the issue here is she's concerned about it, not because he's doing it, but she thinks he's getting this information, this spiciness from another hot tamale.
That's not necessarily true.
Okay.
Everybody changes in their life. Like, we don't want to watch the same, television show for 30 years or eat the same. We don't have the same favorite meal for 30 years. So it may just be that he wants to do something different, and you're his wife, so he should do it with you. And I often encourage couples to spice up their love life. It can be very helpful for a spouse. It's better for him to try to make changes and try to encourage you to do those things than to go out and for him to be miserable, rather.
And it's not an indicator that there's infidelity going on.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Right. What about watching porn? Is watching porn an indication that there's cheating going on?
No, a lot of couples watch porn together, and it can be very healthy for a relationship. It could be some type of research. They could learn things that they want to experiment with. That's not necessarily an indicator of someone cheating at all, because a lot of people watch porn with their spouses.
Okay.
A lot.
A lot.
All right.
All right, so we've gotten some expert advice about whether or not spicing it up, watching porn together, means that something's wrong. In fact, it could be that something's right, that you're moving forward. But in this case, you believe that the change in your sex life, that he's willing to be with other women because he was talking and sending pictures of himself to your friend, your coworker. All of these are indicators that he's cheating.
Yes, sir.
And you're uncomfortable, and all the excuses he's given, you are not buying.
No, Your Honor.
All right.
And Mr. Lee, just so I'm clear, so the court is clear, your testimony is you have not had any sexual relationship with anyone other than your wife since you've been married.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what you're telling this court.
That's what I'm telling this court.
To investigate this matter, the court retained the services of certified polygraph examiner Michael Williams, and we're going to call him at this time. Ron, please escort Mr. Williams into the courtroom.
Your Honor.
How are you, Mr. Williams?
Good afternoon, Judge.
It's good to see you again.
Good to see you, too.
Mr. Williams, would you state your credentials for the court, please?
I have spent the last 25 years in law enforcement as a polygraph examiner. I have over 700 polygraphs to my credit, so I'm much more likely to catch you in a lie than your doctor is to catching you with cancer.
Oh, well, that's bad for the liars, that's for sure.
Right. Now, in this case, you conducted a polygraph examination of Mr. Lee, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You asked Mr. Lee, since being married to your wife, have you had sexual intercourse with anyone other than your wife? What was his response?
He said no.
What did the lie detector determine? What was his response?
He said no.
What did the lie detector determine?
Your Honor, on this particular question, there were several significant physiological responses which indicated to me that he was being deceptive.
Mr. Lee, who have you been involved with since you've been married with her?
Nobody. I'm sticking by that.
Can't do it.
Your wife needs to hear the truth.
Ron, can you please try to bring Miss Lee back in? Miss Lee, you're very obviously heartbroken. Tell us what you're thinking right at this moment.
I don't want him to come back to Montana with me.
You're done.
Can't do it. If he would at least been honest and here when y'all asked him, I could have worked on it.
You all have been married for 7 years. You recently kicked him out of the house because of allegations of cheating,
Yes, Your Honor.
and you're here to clear your name.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell us what you want to prove today.
Today I want to prove to my wife that I'm a loyal husband, that not all men are cheaters, and that she is the most important person in the world to me.
And you brought her here to demonstrate that today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because you've been kicked out of the house.
Yes, I want to get back with my wife. I want to sleep in bed with her again. I love cuddling with her at night, and I miss being able to hold her when I'm sleeping or being held.
All right. And so, Miss Taylor, you're saying you gots to go.
Yes, he's a cheater.
And so you put him out because you believe he's cheating.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that he's got a few under his belt.
I can see the tears in your eyes. Tell him how you are feeling right in this moment.
I feel hurt, Tim.
Baby, I haven't done anything to hurt you, and you're going to find out today. You're going to find out that I am totally loyal to you, and I always will be. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to get that RV and see the country.
All
Miss
right,
Taylor,
so
it
we
sounds
gotta go.
like he wants to be in this relationship, but if you find out that he is cheating,
I'm going home alone.
it's done.
You're done.
I'm done.
So this marriage is totally at risk depending on what happens today.
Yes, Your Honor.
How did you two meet?
I couldn't sleep one night and took a ride. When I came back, as I got out of the car, I heard someone ask, "Can you help me?" Well, I couldn't see anybody, so I heard it again, "Can you help me?" And it was coming from a bush, and I kind of had this Moses moment.
I was going to
And
say,
she
it
was
wasn't
hiding behind the
burning,
bush.
was it? The bush was not burning.
No, it wasn't burning yet.
Okay.
It was burning, but it was not consumed.
Oh, come on, Mr. Cole.
But she came out from behind the bush and explained to me that she couldn't sleep either, and they decided to go have a couple drinks at a bar that was about a block down the road. And she was smart enough not to drive while she was drinking. She asked me if I would be kind enough to let her sleep on my couch. Well, I said, sure. I fancy myself as a knight in shining armor, and I had to rescue the damsel in distress.
That is
Yeah.
by far
The,
one of the strangest stories I've ever heard of how people met.
What made you say okay to this?
I felt like I knew her. In fact, a week later, we were sitting on the couch talking, and all of a sudden I realized I was home from leave on the Army, and I was hanging out in front of the courthouse in Logan. And this guy pulled up to talk to the friend of mine I was with, and I seen this really cute girl in the back seat. And I kept bending over, looking at her, smiling. She kept looking back at me, smiling. But I followed the bro code, and I thought my friend was trying to pick her up, so I didn't say anything.
Okay, you're telling me you met her before you met her in the bush?
Yes. And we never
20
forgot
years
each other.
before.
Now, were you looking at him like he was looking at you back 20 years ago?
Yes.
What was it about him that caught your eye?
He was the nicest looking guy I've seen.
And so he still had it going on 20 years later when
Yeah.
you saw him. Well, that is some story.
When we were talking about it, we were finishing each other's sentences. It's like we'd known each other forever.
What happened?
We had a friend who worked in a bar. We were taking her to work and back, and one night I went to pick her up. She had been imbibing quite a bit. I was just going to drop her off and let her walk in the house, but she walked in front of the car, stumbled, got up, stumbled again. I realized I had to help her.
Okay.
So I
Doing the gentlemanly thing.
Yes, I helped her
Another
to the house.
damsel in
I sat her
distress.
down. I sat her down on her kitchen table. I have to go to the bathroom before I go. So I walked in to use her bathroom. When I came out, this woman was topless, pointed out that she had, as I call them, store-bought boobs. She asked me if I'd ever felt them before, and in a moment of weakness, I messed up and I felt them. I immediately thought of my wife, and as the saying goes, I got the hell out of Dodge.
I don't believe that.
You think something
I think more
happened?
happened.
How did you tell your wife that this occurred?
I had to confess. I made sure to tell her that it never would happen again, that it was a big mistake.
So you just came clean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would one mistake cause a problem in your relationship?
There's more incidents than that.
Okay.
So that was in the past. You think he's cheating now?
Yes. There's a girl, he has flirted openly with her and laid on her podium where she works at her counter and made sexual advances to her, I believe.
This woman works at the local supermarket.
Yes.
He's laid on her counter where she works and has made sexual suggestions to her?
Not sexual suggestions, talking to her, but flirting openly.
And you've seen him flirting?
Yes.
Has there been any additional communication between your husband and this woman?
Yes, I have emails.
Okay.
Ron, would you grab those for us, please?
Yes, Sean. Thank you, ma'am.
And how did you come across these emails?
On his email address.
You thought something was going on and you decided to play detective and you went and started looking in his emails.
Yes.
And when you went in his emails, you found these.
Yes.
So the first one says, I still love you. Please reply. I've been calling and texting you for days. Can you just tell me why you don't want to answer?
The other email, it says, I am so lucky to find you. These are emails you found in his email folders.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you believe they came from the woman at the supermarket.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor, these look very suspicious.
I have no idea. For one, I haven't used my email address in over a year. She does. And every one of those addresses I've looked up has been an information gathering service. It's always a different name, different address. She thinks that the girl is using fake names, and I know I have nothing to do with this girl.
Why would somebody want to do that?
So, but what you're saying, Mr. Taylor, is that these are not from any person that you know.
That's correct.
And they're not from the woman at the supermarket.
No, and let me explain the signal she says. Okay, one day I was in there and I lean on the thing where you write the check.
Right.
You see, if you notice, I'm leaning against this podium now. I have a bad knee. That's all I was doing. I know I'm accused of flirting. I don't mean to. It's just me being me.
It's how you roll.
And this, yeah, and the signal.
But what you're saying is it's nothing between you and this cashier at the grocery store.
No, nothing at all.
It is just you're a nice guy.
Well,
People just like
okay,
you.
she's into comic books, and so am I.
Ah. All right, Ms. Taylor, is there any particular person that you're concerned about that he's cheating with?
Yes, Your Honor. He asked my friend Tammy for sex.
Okay, that's a big leap.
Ms. Taylor, that's a serious accusation to say that your husband has made advances to your friend. I mean, Mr. Taylor?
Never happened. Not at all.
Do you have designs on her friend?
Not at all. I find her...
Did you ever hit on her friend?
No, I find her very unattractive.
Where there's your side, there's your wife's side, and there's Tammy's side. And Tammy is here today. Right. Would you escort her in?
Would you state your name, please, for the record?
Tammy Ogg.
Ms. Ogg, what is your relationship to Ms. Taylor?
I'm friends with Gail. I've been friends for about 10 years.
About 10 years you've been friends?
Mm-hmm.
And what is your relationship with Mr. Taylor?
He's her husband, and that's about it.
Did you meet Mr. Taylor through your friendship with Mrs. Taylor?
Yes, I met them through a mutual friend, and they were married.
Okay, so you've never known them when he wasn't married to her?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Taylor has told this court that you told her that Mr. Taylor made an advance to you.
Absolutely.
What happened?
was kind of surprising. He showed up to my house and he sat down and he said that Gail was feeling pretty depressed, that she had went out with some girls and went to watch some male strippers, Chippendale ordeal or whatever, and that she was bummed out and that she had told him that he could go sleep with somebody because she felt so guilty.
Oh.
And
so he told you his wife had given him a free pass, basically.
Right.
And you were the lucky woman.
lucky, lucky me.
Well, this is a new part to the story.
I never said it because I figured that, you know, a lot of times you tell your friend something and they make up with their husband anyway, so you end up the bad guy.
So was it a difficult decision for you to tell Miss Taylor what happened?
Well, she happened to ask me this last week, Tammy,
Yeah.
have you ever known any time that, you know, Tim has ever cheated on me or tried to? And I said, not necessarily cheated on you, but I guess I could tell you something that happened to me one time. I really didn't want to. I didn't want to lose your friendship. I was afraid you wouldn't believe me.
And so that's when you told her what happened.
Yes.
So, Mr. Taylor, your wife gave you a free pass,
Never.
and you made a pass on her friend.
Never.
Have you ever been alone with her
At her home.
at her home?
No.
Not until then.
All right, Miss Taylor, did you ever give your husband a free pass?
That's a no.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, I'm kind of confused because a lot of times there's, you know, this side, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. You're saying this never happened. You never were alone with Miss Ogg. You never were in her house. You never told her.
Well, I've been in her house, but
Alone with
this,
her.
this thing she's talking about did not happen.
You never propositioned her.
No.
You never did any of that.
No.
So here's the thing. You believe he, in fact, did proposition your friend Tammy.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And you trust her.
Yes, I do.
Wow. Well, Mr. Cutler, here's what we have. In this particular case, that Mr. Taylor admits that he had an opportunity to touch a woman's breast and he took it. Then you have this whole thing, this tension at the local grocery. He's saying it's because of your mutual love of comic books.
That's it.
And you're like, yeah, it's something funny, but it's not comics.
That's right.
And then the linchpin to all this love is that she was advised by her friend that Mr. Taylor in the past had propositioned her for sex.
And don't forget the emails.
Right.
The emails that she found in his email folder talking about I love you and all of this.
I miss you, why won't you write me?
All of this has made you believe that he's cheating.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't eat, I don't sleep because of it. It
Had a hard
really
life, and I
tears
think
me
that
up.
She deserves.
So,
She can do whatever
If you
she
found out that he's not cheating,
I'd be the happiest person in the world.
so we have two extremes.
and marriage hangs in the balance.
Yes, Your Honor.
This court has done a full and complete investigation. At this time, the court will hear from certified polygraph examiner Michael Williams to determine, is he cheating? Ron, please show Mr. Williams into the courtroom.
Michael Williams, how are you? Come on.
How are you, Mr. Williams?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good to
How are
see
you doing?
Good afternoon, sir. Doing fine, thank you.
Now, you performed a polygraph examination on Mr. Taylor, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Mr. Taylor was asked, did you have sexual intercourse with your wife's friend whose breasts you admitted to fondling? What was his response?
Your Honor, he said no.
What did the lie detector determine?
Your Honor, the lie detector determined Mr. Taylor was being truthful.
All right.
Look at that smile. I can see it.
I'm happy.
Okay, let's see what else we have. And how are you feeling, Mr. Taylor?
I'm happy.
All right.
Mr. Taylor was asked, have you had physical sexual contact with the cashier with whom you share an affinity for comic books? What was his response?
He said no.
What did the lie detector determine?
Your Honor, regarding physical sexual contact, the lie detector determined he was being truthful.
I love you, baby.
Love you too, baby.
The final question. Mr. Taylor was asked, Since being married to Mrs. Taylor, have you had sexual intercourse with any other woman without Mrs. Taylor's knowledge? What was his response?
Your Honor, he said no.
What did the lie detector determine?
Your Honor, on this particular question, there was no significant physiological response, which indicated to me he was being truthful.
I love you. I love you.
Miss Taylor, you had two options, one of those being the happiest woman in the world. Is that what
I'm
you
so
are right
happy.
now?
Oh, such a relief.
It is.
So you both got what you came here for. You came here for answers. You came here to clear your name. And both of those things have been accomplished.
Yes, Your
That's
Honor.
a good day.
It's a good day, Mr.
It's a good day all the way
I want to
around.
thank you for helping save my marriage.